The U.S. Secretary of State, beg your pardon, the U.S. Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, has said that radical Islamists cannot have a nuclear bomb that they wield against the world. While Hegseth made this claim in connection with Iran, its ramifications can be far-reaching as part of the U.S. policy under President Trump. Here's what he said.
Well, I laid out the objectives, as did the chairman. They're completely nested. I mean, Iran has an ability to project power against us and our allies in ways that we can't tolerate. So whether that's ballistic missiles and drones, so offensive capabilities, effectively their navy, which would attempt to set other terms and impose different costs, drone capabilities, which we laid out there, and ultimately, though, this tying it back to Midnight Hammer, the president has been willing to make a deal. You can't have a nuclear bomb. Radical Islamists can't have a nuclear bomb that they wield against the world. He gave them every single opportunity. Then we precisely took it away. And even then, after that, they didn't have that. They didn't come to the table with a willingness to give it away. So ultimately, those nuclear ambitions, which never ceased, are something that had to be addressed as well. So that's a discrete sense of what's being addressed here to ensure that they can't use that conventional umbrella to continue a pursuit of nuclear ambitions.
All right, let me welcome on the broadcast Dr. Rohan Gunaratna. He's an international terrorism expert and a professor of security studies at Rajaratnam School of International Studies, joining us live from Singapore at the moment. Dr. Gunaratna, welcome to WION. I want to start by asking you, in fact, taking this cue from what the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, has said, that, radical Islamists cannot have nuclear arsenal. My question is, who would be defined as a radical Islamist? America has different definitions. West Asia has a completely different definition. And here in India, we have different definitions as well.
What we have seen is that there are Shia radicals and also Sunni radicals. The regime in Tehran, they are Shia. And certainly they have weaponized Islam to advance their political aims. Similarly, Al-Qaeda, Islamic State or ISIS, these are all radical Islamist organizations or radical Islamist entities. What the Secretary of War said is that Iran specifically can't have a weapon because Iran has been enriching uranium to weapons grade and building a functional weapon. And if you look at comments by Witkoff, who negotiated with Tehran, he also said that Iran was planning to build 11 nuclear weapons. If they succeeded, the arms race in the Middle East, and that would destabilize the Middle East completely.
Dr. Gunaratna, as far as the fallout of this entire West Asian conflict is concerned, how do you see this? There are several terror groups across not just West Asia, but across the world. How do you see the ramifications of this conflict spreading to different parts of the world via these terror groups?
Very significant. Right now, what we are seeing is the Shia groups, that is the Lebanese Hezbollah, the Ansarullah of the Houthi movement, and Hashd Shabi in Iraq and other Shia groups in Iraq. They have become very active. They have started to mount their operations. But globally, we are seeing that the Sunni groups, especially Al-Qaeda and ISIS, these groups are against the United States, against Israel, against the West. And these groups are also expressing, in many ways, a lot of anti-Western sentiments. And this is all going to drive terrorism. So I believe that governments during this period should issue alerts and threat warnings so that if there are any plans or preparations by any terrorist groups, whether they are Shia or Sunni, they will be disrupted in the planning and the preparation phase. The entire world should be on alert because of the conflict in the Middle East and their implications globally.
Sure, and these advisories are being released by several governments and organizations. But Dr. Gunaratna, I also want to understand from you more about the proxy groups. As this entire conflict widens, there is the Hezbollah and the Houthi group, which have now become active once again. How difficult would it be? How big of a challenge would it be for America and Israel to deal with them, considering the fact that we have seen skirmishes and attacks, particularly in the Red Sea region in the past as well?
The Houthis and the group called the Hezbollah in Lebanon, these are the two strongest proxies of Iran. But Iran itself has supported about 30 proxies, including the Shia proxies in Pakistan and in Afghanistan. So what is important is for governments during this period to prepare to deal with these proxies, because even if the regime eclipses in Tehran, these proxies will continue the fight. So it must be an effort not only against replacing the regime in Tehran, but also curbing and curtailing the threat posed by the Shia groups that will continue the fight. I have seen, based on the statements Hezbollah and Ansarullah has issued, they want to continue the fight. They called Ayatollah Khamenei, who was killed, the guardian of the Muslims. So there will be very significant attacks that will take place in the coming months and coming years.
Just as we speak, we're also getting in a statement from the Lebanese president that says the ban on Hezbollah's military activities is irreversible. So we'll have to wait and see how they respond and how this moves forward. I'm going to leave it here. Thank you very much, Dr. Gunaratna, for joining us on WION and sharing your perspective.
Thank you.